Hey everybody, welcome back to the Rogue Tanks devlog. This is actually day 31. I haven't done one of these in a while because I kind of thought I was done developing for the most part, but I realized there's some extra stuff that I wanted to add, sort of like bonus features. One of which being survivor mode, but I haven't got that working yet. So you can ignore that text down there. What I really want to show off is that I have new tank colors to unlock. And I've revamped the tank select screen a little bit as far as changing colors. And you can see right here in the top corner, this is just for demonstrative purposes. I've got a number drawn up here that indicates what my cursor is sitting on. So there are now just 10 colors by default. I think there were a couple more, but I took out some of the greenish blue colors that looked very similar to each other. So those are the 10 default colors. And as I go in here, we'll just start unlocking more. Again, for demonstrative purposes, it's going to be very easy for me to unlock more colors. Bumblebee. So if I go right back in here, you can see I've got a new color I can look at, and it's not just a like a recoloring of the tank. It's of the basic tank sprite. It's got like a pattern to it with the stripes. Also, for demonstrative purposes, again up here, this is an array of all the colors that I can unlock. And as you can see, the very top one has changed from a 0 to a 1. So let's go ahead and go back in, and I'll unlock a couple more colors. Blue Star, Tiger, and Star Green. So if I back out, first off I want to point out the array up here is now a 1-1, bunch of zeros, 1-1. So the colors are not unlocking in order per se, and that's intentional. They do have a set order that they do unlock in every time, but they so the next color, the tiger color, is like right below Bumblebee, and as you see my cursor number up here, you'll see it jump to 19 from, it goes 10, 11, 12, 19. That's because that's what color is down here, the star green and star blue. 19, 20, and then back to 0, because I've recoded the color changing script to allow it to check for each of, when you press up or down, it checks if that next color in the array is unlocked, and if it's not, it'll check the next one until it finds one that you can go to. So yeah, I'm glad to see that it is working as intended. And yeah, these star ones are just kind of a white star in the middle. I mean, it could be a star of any color, but I also wanted the star to match the turret. And this is the first instance of a tank that will shoot white bullets, which is just an interesting concept. Because what it used to be is that the tank would just shoot the color bullets that it is, and the color that it was just a coloring of the basic tank sprite. If I go right back in here again, there are some more colors unlocked. That is the Joker color that it mentioned before, Valentine. And they do have names to them, but it really doesn't matter because you don't see the name here when you're picking your tank. But yeah, that is roughly half of the tanks that you can unlock now. This is just an extra bonus that I've added. If we go into the record screen, down here you can see how close you are to unlocking something. The last tank right now is unlocked at 10,000 points, and these points are calculated actually based on these campaign values on your campaign records. So Basically, there is a set value for each enemy destroyed, each room cleared, and each campaign won. Maybe I won't reveal that right away. You can probably calculate it out just by looking at this information here, or looking at your own information when you have it. But yeah, obviously there's a big bonus for completing a campaign, and then there's some small points for every enemy and room cleared. And so it gives you your points, and this bar actually down here would be partially filled, like the red meter indicates that it's full. This screen just tells me that there's nothing more to unlock. Well, at least there's no more points to earn to unlock. Again, this is for demonstrative purposes. When you have less than the number of points needed to unlock something, it will be a partially filled bar with red filling it and black being the background of empty space. I guess that's not great for demonstration here, but the reason it's full is because I just have it so that it'll unlock something every time I kill an enemy, because that is when it checks to unlock something, is, you know, when you kill an enemy or clear a room or beat the campaign. So let's go ahead and let me just show you the code of how that all works. I've done some, not necessarily optimization, but cleaning up of my code, really. So let's see, cursor colored down. Yeah, so before there used to be big chunks of code here where when you pressed up or down, well, actually this part right here is actually pretty simple. When you pressed up or down, it would just move the cursor up or down and check for the bottom and the top. But now I've moved those over to a separate script because it's a lot more involved now, because now whenever you press up or down, it's checking where, first of all, it changes where your cursor is. It automatically, you press down, it increases it to go the next color down. And then it checks if you're over 10, which is the base color. You're given the basic 10 colors by default when you start a new game. So if you're over that, it needs to start checking for unlocked colors. And so it checks if your cursor is on 11, it checks, do you have that unlocked, which is a color unlock array. The color unlock array is from 0 to, let me see, what is that? The array size is 0 to 13. There's 13 unlockable, well, 14 unlockable colors. Then the array is 0 to 13. So it checks if you have the first unlockable color unlocked. That's why it's starting at 0. But the actual color cursor number is 11, if that makes sense, because the array starts counting after the standard colors. This is just for the unlockable colors. So yeah, there is a gap there between the color array number and the actual color number. But yeah, it checks if you're on 11, do you have a level unlocked? Yes, then you're good to go. But if you don't have it unlocked, it checks each of the other colors to see if those are unlocked. Now, for me, 11 is the first unlockable color, so it's going to be unlocked if any of them are unlocked. But let's say you get to 12. If that one's not unlocked, it'll see if 13 is unlocked and 14 is unlocked. Now, if I knew exactly which colors could be unlocked at which stage of the unlocking process, I could clean this up to be to only check what would be possible to unlock at this point. But I just have it check all of them for simplicity, for my sake, so that I can rearrange the order that they are unlocked and not have to go back and fix this. So yeah, it goes down and checks all of them. Obviously, it decreases the number of things it has to check because it's only going down at this point. I do have a similar script for going up, and it kind of decreases the checks it has to do as you're going back up the list, because it goes top to bottom, 0 to 20 or whatever. And so yeah, and it returns that argument, because going back here, the tank color, if you press down, the tank color becomes what it calculates from this script. And and you put in the tank color there. So yeah, it's a script that you set it equal to the thing that you're putting in. And yeah, this is, oh yeah, you have to put in this cursor color because, you know, for like player 2 and 3, it'll basically do the same thing. But yeah, it was just the basic tank sprite recolored is what it used to be. The basic tank sprite was white, and so I would just have it recolor it based on your cursor number position. But that is now different. It now checks for an actual sprite to assign. We have another new script. Draw tank. Yeah, here we go. So this is the new script. It's very argument heavy because it's checking for like what player are you, what player, where are you drawing it. Basically, I have this script be very universal where I can have it apply to each player. Each player in the code can use this same script to draw their tank in their different corner of the screen. So it takes the X and like a starting reference point and some space between things. Player number. Argument 5 is cursor color. Argument 6 is tank color. Argument 7 is player input. This is like what controller they're using, or if they're using keyboard and mouse. Mind-boggling myself because I'm like trying to read over this and I kind of want to explain it, but at the same time it's been a few days since I wrote this code, and now I'm recording the video. So yeah, it comes in here and checks where your cursor is, and so yeah, there we go. That's the basic tank in two parts, the tank base and the turret. It'll just draw in this color, and I just have pre-chosen colors now instead of it used to be like scrolling through like based on your cursor number. It would shade the color based on that, but now I have my selection where it skips like by 20, and then it skips all over 100 and just goes straight to 120. So yeah, there's that. And then here we go with the unlockable stuff. If your cursor is on number 11, you've got the Bumblebee one. Oh yeah. So I mainly just made patterns for the base, and then the turret is a single color because the bullet you fire is still coded to be just a single color. So it's simpler for me if I can just make the turret a single color, because the bullet fired references the color of the turret to know what color to shoot. So I'm thinking I won't be putting patterns on any of the turrets. I don't think. I mean, I think they look fine without it right now. So that's the way it's gonna be for now. So yeah, that is... Oh yeah, and it's for like the 4X tank. It repeats again. Because I think there's a problem with GameMaker doesn't really store sprites in variables. So it can't just be like draw sprite variable blah blah blah. If I could, then this code could be simpler. I wouldn't have to have a separate switch for each tank type. I could just store the sprite to use for the turret in a variable and reference that in a single switch statement. But instead, I've got to create a separate switch. Oh, I mean, it wouldn't even work with the missile thing either, because the missile thing is 3 different sprites, unless I turned the missile thing into a single sprite just for the tank select screen, you know? It is possible, but right now this is the way that I'm doing it. And then what do we have here at the bottom? So yeah, I just use the argument words. It might actually be better if I had used real reference words instead of just argument. But yeah, here's the descriptions. So here's the function right up here where I have just all those arguments listed. It probably wouldn't have been better for me to read if I, instead of using argument 0, I said like, it's the draw x something. But this also works. So let me see. What else did I do? Okay, yeah, similar. The status screen had to be given a thing as well. Yeah, so like the status screen is different from the tank select screen. It has its own set of arguments. This draw x is referencing object games variable draw x. It's not something that's passed in. So I say right here it has to be called by object game. It does have a different set of arguments. I remember there was a reason I had to make this a separate script and I couldn't just reuse the draw tank select script. Oh, right. It's got these different messages at the bottom. I mean, I probably was able to just copy and paste most of this over. Anyway, it all worked out. I am not done developing Rogue Tanks. There is going to be more stuff added. So stay tuned to learn more about those and how, if you want to learn how to use GameMaker, then you can. I hope these videos are a good reference to learn how to code and make things. So thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.